If you dated an avoidant and you have the feeling that they moved on already, right now you are struggling to move on yourself. You can't make sense of how this person I shared my life with for months and years is able to move on so quickly. And it's very easy to assume that they will never miss me. Actually, when you analyze avoidance psychology, you actually realize that usually they miss you. The thing is that they never, ever show it to you. So that's why I wanted to make these videos, to explain a little bit what's going on in an avoidance mind. As you know, I'm a former avoidant. The name of this channel is The Avoidant Therapist. And I'm here to really help you understand avoidance psychology. And if you're an avoidant person, welcome. It's important for you to understand why you function like this and what you should be doing should you want to have healthier, more secure relationship. If you have any questions throughout this video, don't hesitate to let me know in the comment section. Let's get started. So as I said, avoidant probably miss you, but they hide it. The thing is, avoidant, we learned at a very young age to suppress emotions. Suppressing emotions is a way for us to feel in control. Because if I'm crying, if I feel desperate, I feel like someone else will take the lead, will take advantage of the situation. And that's why we create this defense mechanism of being disconnected. It's not because we don't care, it's not because we don't love, it's just like by being at an arm length from my partner, I feel in control. If I'm too close, if I'm smothered, then I feel like I will lose a part of my identity and lose the control in the situation. And studies have shown that avoidants, even though they're perceived as they don't care, still have attachment stress. You have to understand that we need all to be attached to a primary attachment figure. The difference between avoidant, secure, and anxious is that avoidant, they will suppress this need. Secure and anxious people will actually see the benefit. Anxious to an extreme where they can't do anything without an attachment figure. Secure is just finding the right balance between dependence and independence. So it's called interdependence in the context of a relationship. And so what happens is mechanically, when you distance yourself, let's say you broke up with your partner recently and you go no contact, that distance will make them think about you. But they will never tell the world that they're thinking about you. They will never post anything on social media saying they're missing you. They will probably not discuss clearly with their friends that they miss you. They will keep things to themselves. Avoidants are usually very, very, very secretive. So when something happens to me, for instance, I really need to make a conscious effort to speak up. Otherwise, I will keep it to myself. And if I were to listen to my inner child, I will never ever talk to anyone, even my spouse, even my best friends. I will keep everything to myself. Another element is after a breakup or when we feel we regret a decision, we somehow need to be vulnerable, to feel like, oh, I'm broken, to feel I made a mistake, to admit that we did something wrong. And that vulnerability is very scary for an avoidance because it feels like if I'm opening myself, I'm going to become dependent. And I don't want to be dependent. I don't want you to depend on me and be depending on you. Also, another element, the other fear, it's engulfment. Engulfment is what I described is I'm going to lose myself in this relationship. We're going to be so entangled that I won't have this freedom anymore. And I don't want this. So I'm okay with a bit of intimacy. I'm okay to be in a relationship, but too much is going to be scary. It's going to be going against my view in terms of self-reliance, of independence, and therefore I will let go. I will withdraw. So you won't see it, but trust me, it's there. Now, I'm saying it's there, obviously. If you broke up with your partner and your partner was simply not into you, that's a different story. And sometimes when we're in love, we don't really see. We don't really appreciate what actually is going on. If you're not sure, have a look in the description. There are a few things and a quiz to assess whether actually, if you're trying to get back with this avoidant, maybe you're wasting your time. And there are cases, quite a lot of cases, where you should not get back with them. And I list that out 4 categories. So have a look in the description. There's a quiz for you to get a bit of clarity on this. And the confusing part is, even though they have those feelings, they will pull away rather than reaching out. So you might be thinking like, oh, they regret their decision. They have feelings, they miss me. Why don't they reach out? The thing is, as I said again, intimacy is overwhelming. I don't want to feel smothered. When you reach out, again, you're losing the control, right? You're also admitting, I need you in my life. And it's very hard. It's very, 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 very hard for an avoidant. And so what they are doing is this idea of out of sight, out of mind. And they would be very good. Actually, you can learn from avoidance if you're having a hard time dealing with a breakup. They will have this sort of coping mechanism of blocking everything. So actually, they will proactively remove you from social media, unfollow you, distract themselves, and so on. It's a defense mechanism. And that's how they deal with those emotional response that they have around like, oh, actually, I miss them. Obviously, it's not a healthy way to deal with things, especially if you regret breaking up with your partner, but that's how they deal with that situation. The closeness also, and that's typical. Let me know actually in the comment section if you feel this way. They often say, I can't give you what you want. I'm not sure. And so for them, there's a high risk in reappearing in your life if they're not entirely sure that they'll make you happy, that they give you what you want. And that's why you always have to understand that if you want to get back with an avoidant ex, you need to understand that their level of certainty as whether they want to get back with you starts from 0, maybe 5%. For you, maybe you know it's clear. We can make it work. You have, maybe because you're watching my videos, you understand the plan. You understand what you need to implement in your life. And you also see what they need to implement. And it's very clear. It's very straightforward. For them, it's not. And so never, never, ever start that phase of reconciliation with that level of certainty, assuming that they're already at your same level of understanding. And the whole point, and what I do with my clients is like bringing their ex on that journey. And it's a process. It's not a process that takes years, but it's a process to really help them, almost hand-holding them throughout the process, showing them that another relationship can work, the tools and the things that they could implement in their life to feel safer in this relationship. But always like as climbing a ladder step by step. And one surprising thing is they reconnect when it feels safe, i.e. when they assume you want to talk, you won't be able to, you wouldn't want, to talk about the relationship. It feels safe when they feel like, okay, we're not going to have this discussion again about the things that I told you. I feel safe when I'm in a relationship that feels a little bit like the start of a relationship, when things were easy. Again, this is a process. You don't want to be setting up yourself for failure by staying in this relationship that is potentially a situationship or something that doesn't meet your emotional needs, your intimacy needs. But you need to start somewhere. The problem is that you will always see on and off, reappear, disappear, on and off. And that's why it's important to have someone to help you out in those situations if you struggle, because at some stage you need to pull the plug. And it's very hard because there's always this idea of, oh, maybe I was too emotional. Maybe I said something wrong. And so it's very hard, especially when you're in love, especially when you're heartbroken, to navigate and be objective of what's going on. Because the thing is, you also need to ensure that you have your set of boundaries and that need to accept, actually, it's not a question of being avoidant. It's just a question of them not working on the relationship. And you deserve to be with someone who works on the relationship. It's as simple as that. So yes, you can give it a try, knowing about attachment style, knowing that they're avoidant, adapting a little bit how you communicate, how you manage things. But at the end of the day, you need to also see them responding to to this. That's what I do on a day-to-day basis with my clients, especially on WhatsApp. So as I said, they won't share it to the world, but they will process things. So what will happen in their at home or in their mind, they will replay memories, they will feel nostalgic. They will also assume you're better off without them. You know, because often you will hear, I can't make you happy. You'll find someone better. And to be honest, that's not BS. They really mean it when they say it. They really feel like you're a great person. If I'm honest with myself, you haven't done anything wrong, right? Maybe you care too much, but that's not a bad thing. And therefore thinking like, I'm the one responsible. I'm the bad guy in this relationship. I used to feel I was always the one breaking up when I was younger. And I always felt like this. I always felt, well, I'm the bad guy. I don't want this really nice girl to suffer anymore because I can't give her what she wants. I don't want to make the effort, basically. So I'd really think like they'll be happier. And then obviously when you see them dating someone, you feel like, ah, crap. Maybe I should have made some effort, but it's too late. And also that helped me understand this. And that's why, and a footnote, if you're in your 20s, it's way harder because for an avoidant, this idea of being committed in a relationship has a different meaning or importance when you're in your 20s than when you're 30s or 40s. So when you're in your 20s, you don't care if your relationship just lasts 6 months. When you're in your 30s, this is where you start asking yourself, okay, what's going on? I see people around me getting married, having kids. What am I doing with my life? Maybe there's something wrong with me because the common denominator of those relationships was always me. That was my story and my thought process. If you're in your 20s and you dated someone avoidant, it's way, way harder because they're at the beginning of that journey, of that self-discovery about their fear of intimacy, their fear of commitment. Also, missing someone for an avoidant doesn't mean they'll act out of things. I had a chat the other day with a client, and his ex seems to be really depressed. But she was not acting on it. She was not doing anything on it. And so I realized, because it's also something that I used to do or used to believe, because we can suppress emotions and numb things and have this strong belief that nothing is dramatic and we will recover from it. Whenever there's something bad, we are very good at not doing anything because we feel, oh, I'm resilient. I can endure the pain. And therefore we don't take any action. And so he was telling me like, my daughters are telling me, she seems depressed and lonely, but she does nothing about it. And so the same sort of mechanic works is like, they might miss you, they might feel regret, and it might be really painful, but they won't do anything, right? So again, that's very difficult to understand for someone who's secure or someone who has an anxious attachment style, because as soon as we feel that pain, as soon as we see that signal, we want to act upon them. For an avoidant, we feel like it's painful and I really don't want to listen. And I really don't want to act. And I'm okay being in a suboptimal life. That's fine. I'm easygoing. I used to say, what's that? I'm easygoing. I'm fine, whatever. So the thing is, you also need to understand that because your level or the way you respond to things will be different. And that's why you feel like, they don't care. No, maybe they care. It's just that their response to this pain is way, way different than yours. And it's not a law of attraction because I don't believe in this crap, but I see so many times avoidants reappear when their partner moved on for good, are starting to date someone, but in a serious relationship. That's usually when they reappear. And for them, it's usually too late. So that was kind of a good lesson for me when I was younger. But that's usually how it works. I'm not saying date someone and that's the best way for you to get back with your ex, because if you date someone, you need to be ready in the sense of like, maybe he or she's not going to be your life partner, but you have to feel ready to date and be intimate and build something with this person. Maybe if it only lasts a couple of months, but it's important to do it for you, not to make your ex react. I wasn't sure if I would share this slide because I know you are junkie of those signs. And I don't think it's necessarily helpful because you might get too much hooked on analyzing and overanalyzing those signs, but I'm sharing the slide anyway. They would watch stories, check your socials, maybe send you a text, really random. They will ask through mutual friends, share things about, hey, I've seen this restaurant, or a private joke or something they watched on TV or whatever. They might suddenly appear to your local coffee shop, etc., etc. The thing is, when they reconnect, you always have this hot and cold behavior. They will test the water and then disappear, test, because they don't know. Again, we're back to their level of certainty. Maybe 5%, or you're a nice person, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'm willing. I'm not sure I have the stamina. I'm not sure I have the motivation to do the work. And that's also what you have to be prepared, is it's going to be painful because they are a pain in the air to deal with. I'm not saying the word, otherwise I'll be banned from YouTube. I'm not sure if I can say this word anyway. So what should you be doing right now? You're watching this video, you're learning, maybe others like, oh yeah, makes sense. What should you do? Don't chase, obviously. Don't chase. Force them to reflect. Let them be on their own. Maybe they won't admit, but they are reflecting on this. And that's why 90% of my time is really, or with my clients, is really around healing. Because it's the thing you can control. Processing the breakup, understanding how you can develop that attachment style, implementing those actions, creating the right environment, etc., etc. When they return, it's important to, at some stage, clear those clear boundaries, because you don't want to get back in the relationship that didn't work in the first place, obviously. And you don't want to be in that cycle of waiting, of especially if you're breaking the contact, which is fine to break the contact at some stage if you need to. But you have to be prepared that if you send that message, you'll have to wait. And those few hours or days will be draining emotionally. And their response will be potentially disappointing because they will be scared, because they just give you a little bit, because they don't want to overinvest. You need to thrive or to develop that secure attachment style in your relationship. The same way I did, the same way my clients are doing. The point is, the more secure you are, the better the relationship. That won't solve all your relationship problems, but trust me, that will solve most of them. And that secure attachment style is really about consistency. So you need, at some stage, throughout the process, as I said, few weeks, few months, at some stage, to be clear about like, okay, can I trust this person? Are they consistent? Are they meeting my needs? Not about, I have the feeling that potentially if they do this and that, they'll meet my needs, I'll be happy. No, what are they doing now? Okay, give me proof. Be factual. Challenge those thoughts around like, yes, but maybe that's because he's like, no, I don't care about his childhood. I don't care about his attachment. What he or she is doing right now to meet your needs, and be clear on those things. And it's also assessing the effort. The same way you're making an effort to make it work, you need to expect from them they make an effort. And finally, and probably that's the most important thing you need to remember, you need to find someone, or you deserve someone who chooses you. And they don't choose you because they are scared, they don't choose you because they are forced. They choose you because they feel you can meet their needs and they can meet your needs. They feel that they choose you that because they love you, and love is not just feelings, love is about commitment. Love without commitment, that's just a fling. I don't call that a relationship. It's nice, and maybe that's what you need right now, but that's not potentially the long-term relationship that you dreamed of. If you have any question, let me know. If you like this video, subscribe. That does help me a lot to push this content to anyone who would need to hear this. And I'll see you next time. Take care.